যেটা আমি দিতে চলেছি সেটা আমি চাই সেই জনসংস্কৃতি মহিলাদের আর সীমাদিকে আমি দিতে চাই, আর জনসংস্কৃতি যা করছে সম্বন্ধে একটা খুব স্পেশাল একটা।
সামনে আমার এক্সাম আছে বাবা।
মেয়েদের আমার এক্সাম, জলদি যাও। এক্সাম করছি। ও তুমি পড়ো, তুমি
কি হচ্ছে মা?
আরে এক কলসি জল নিয়ে।
আরে তোমরা কেউ বুঝতে পারছো না সামনে তো আমারও এক্সাম নাকি?
এক্সাম দিয়ে কি হবে শুনি? রাষ্ট্রপতি হবে না প্রধানমন্ত্রী?
কি হলো কি? ভিতরে মা ডাকছে শুনতে পাচ্ছ? Marion is calling that I want to listen to your Marion.
I was reading. I was trying to learn something.
তোমার কাজের পড়ার থেকে কাজটা জরুরি, কারণ শ্বশুর বাড়ি গিয়ে তোমার কাজটা করতে হবে। How to do household work.
Where's Ola?
In Bengali, in English how are you? তুমি কেমন আছো? কেমন আছো?
Ekto. Your name? Ekto. And your name? Samiran.
And we just like
This
this is the first here and measure this distance and then go exactly from zero of the machine is from the last
We can use a lot. But if you have this, then now it's more.
aro dori তো সেই মুক্তধারা আমাদের পরপর 4 বছর হয়ে গেল। তো লাস্ট হচ্ছে মুক্তধারা 4 তো এখানে দেখছি যে মুক্তধারা 4-এ আরও অভূতপূর্ণ আরও সারা যে 29টা দেশের 29 কান্ট্রির প্রতিনিধি এখানে উপস্থিত হয়েছে এবং অনেকগুলো দেশ তাদের পারফরমেন্স করেছে মুক্তধারার মধ্যে আমাদের রাজ্যের ছাড়া। তো এটা জনসংস্কৃতির ফেস্টিভ্যাল থাকছে না, মুক্তধারাটা সত্যি মুক্তধারার নামটা রাখাটা আমাদের কাছে গর্বের মানে সাফল্য যে মুক্তধারা সত্যি আন্তর্জাতিক মেলা হিসাবে ইন্টারন্যাশনাল ফেস্টিভ্যাল না জনসংস্কৃতি ফেস্টিভ্যাল। মুক্তধারা হচ্ছে ইন্টারন্যাশনাল ফেস্টিভ্যাল হয়ে গেল।
Some of us are new, some of us have a lot of experience with forum, but very little experience with rainbow. Some have a lot of experience with rainbow, very little experience with forum. Some of us are community activists, and some of us are academics. Some of us are healthcare practitioners. And incessantly, they come and they attack them. at the same time, can you stand up? Can you stand up? Can you stand up? At the same time, the person who survived the trauma has a defense system, defenders. So can you make a defense system around him?
It's interesting. It's interesting. But I want to use it. I don't feel safe. It's like going to the area of psychology, people's mind. Too risky for me.
On vient de voir juste un atelier, mais on va en avoir d'autres. Mais j'ai hâte de voir ce que les autres font partout dans le monde. C'est ça, c'est inspirant.
Who is the oppressed?
Support.
And we'll do next the image before and the image after. So quickly, next image.
TO is several things. It's not only one thing. So it's now what is most important for me to emphasize is that it's a worldwide movement of theater activists that use the theater to transform their societies and to do this on a global, in a global dimension. TO is strongly linked to a political oppressive time in history. So this theater that Augusto Boal developed is organically grown over the years, and every method that emerged has its reason and its context.
Human being is an artist. We learn how to live by painting like the children paint, like making sculpture, like children make sculpture.
Then what Augusto Boal managed to do was to translate it and to summarize it in one language that is now useful to many people on all continents. So this is the very special thing about it.
Join your hands, not on a line, cross, stretch yourself like this, like that, like this. You can sit like this. Okay. So as soon as I clap, you stop and you engage your hands and make image, correct image. Ready? Go. Stop. Engage. One more time. So the sculpture you will make will be a sculpture of an oppressed person to whom you know very well, even if you know who is her oppressor. Is that clear? So now you know the oppressor of this oppressed, right? So you have to now relate to your sculpture as an oppressor, because you know the oppressor. So be the oppressor of that oppressed, because you also know the oppressor, no? So now you relate yourself as an oppressor with your sculpture, right? You want to do. So Theatre of the Oppressed workshop, from the workshop itself it becomes an empowering space. People grow intellectually. They analyze a problem sociologically. So it becomes a space where they cultivated social science. The workshop should be seen in this way. I always say games are social metaphors. Even the game should be used in a way so that game can act as a bridge between the people and their reality, external reality, internal reality. So games are social metaphors. So Hector and Chris, they will be moving, but they cannot speak. But by moving, they will try to tell us something, and Chris has to understand who is Hector, actually who is he, and who is he. So, what do you think? Can you just tell a story? What story do you find here?
Hector is an angry husband who's come home and found that there's no dinner, and he's telling his wife, demanding that she go to the kitchen to make him food. And since she said no at first, he hit her, and now he's continuing to implore her to go.
And is he a housewife simply?
Yes.
And Hector works?
Hector's a lawyer, and he had a hard day at work, and so he went to have drinks with his friends. So he's very drunk, but he's come home hungry.
Okay, so you just have to act accordingly. The story she has given you, you have to act with that story.
Now!
Calm down.
No, stop with those stupid excuses every day. I work all day.
I can't cope with it anymore. You need to calm down.
Come down. Come down.
I can't. I do everything you do not.
You make me feel like this.
Be very concrete, eh? So we'll go from concrete to abstract rather than abstract to concrete. Anyway, so this is, I think, Brent and
the best known technique or art of the theater of the oppressed is probably forum theater. And this is a theater where the gap between the audience and the actors and actresses has been undone. And the actors, instead of spectators, they can come on stage, they can invade, intervene in the theater scene and try to solve difficult situations. So this theater of the oppressed is not a theater that reproduces the reality, but it's a theater that poses questions to society.
Vladimir, what's going on? You won't believe your face. Something afoot?
Work is not good, my friend. I have been working here for a year, and I still don't have an official offer of employment. And she pays me when it's possible.
And in this forum theater space, problems are being spoken about or addressed, and then the audience is invited to come and find different alternatives of action.
Well, I'm sorry to say that to you who helped me get this job, but sometimes I work 18 hours a day.
What? 18 hours?
What are you doing? Are you nuts? She will be here in a minute. Do you want the inspectors to come?
Stop! Okay, come. Okay, I ask the question. Can you be the worker or the customer? Jill or the worker? Okay.
Can you help me to organize us? And you explain them, because you speak a little bit more French like me, than me, to explain them that we have our rights here, and she doesn't come to that. She couldn't. She doesn't have to do that. No? Come here, in the kitchen. Oh, yes, stop, basta. All together, here, come. Yeah, wait, but look. Wait a minute. Look, read here. It's the law. We have rights. We are workers.
Yes.
And we have rights.
Yes, it's true.
And I knew lawyers that can help us to come here and speak with her. A lawyer, yeah, and defend. And no.
Bon, je constate que les luttes se ressemblent beaucoup d'un pays à l'autre. On traite souvent des mêmes enjeux, souvent avec les mêmes intervenants, personnes interpellées par ces problèmes-là. Fait qu'il y a beaucoup de difficultés avec des populations immigrantes dans tous les pays du monde. Puis la discrimination envers les immigrants, c'est un thème qui ressort partout.
C'est assez motivant au fait de voir des projets comme en Iran, mettons, genre où est-ce qu'il n'y avait pas de théâtre de l'opprimé à la base et qu'eux-mêmes ont été capables de monter leur propre projet. Donc c'est motivant pour des gens qui ont l'intérêt de le faire dans un endroit qui n'est pas, où est-ce que c'est pas populaire.
We are Tibetan group from Iran, the first and only group who works on TO techniques in Iran. We came to Jana Sanskriti to have a performance based on events in Iran. This would be a very good experience for us because there are good and professional TO practitioners in this festival who learned us so many things, and we hope in the performance too we learn from Indian people, especially the lessons of Gandhi, because this is the homeland of Gandhi. We want to learn how to fight peacefully. Performance is based on one of the greatest ancient Greek scripts named Antigone. It is a free adaptation based on Sophocles' text named Antigone in Tehran. Our Antigone is contemporary because the events is somehow alike to the original text, but it is based on recent events in Iran. Iran has a great potentiality for democracy because people do like have a dialogic space to perform, to say their desires, to make creative actions for changing their society. But there isn't any good mechanism to make this happen. And we try to make this mechanism through theater, especially TO. And we bring TO between people in free spaces, in open spaces, just for people to learn them how to make a good dialogue together to make their life better.
Les pièces qui ont été montées cette fois ont été d'une meilleure qualité que celles que j'ai vues auparavant, c'est-à-dire des pièces des participants étrangers. Alors les pièces ont été travaillées. Et pour moi cela était très intéressant parce que ça donnait la possibilité de voir, voilà, c'est comme ça en Iran par exemple. Et ça c'était un vrai échange, je crois. On a pu voir des pièces tout à fait différentes, montées avec des ressources différentes, des idées différentes, parfois des pièces naturalistes, parfois des pièces très symboliques. Tout ça marchait très bien. Il y avait une variété de possibilités.
almost 10 years ago, I came here for the second time, and I intended to make a movie that I never did. And when I was seeing again the conference in which that Sanjay was doing, he done a speech at a certain moment. A speech in which he was saying, people often ask to me where the power of Jana Sanskriti comes from. But then the only answer of Sanjay was to say, I don't know. I don't know where this power comes from. And I don't, 10 years after, coming here several times, I still don't know where the power of Jana Sanskriti comes from. What I do know is that Jana Sanskriti is not the name of a group only. It's not the name of a movement only. I think Jana Sanskriti is the name also of a certain spirit that we can find inside many mass movements in India. Maybe a spirit that can best resume with a sentence from Swami Vivekananda. Give them a fistful of flour, they will be able to change the world. And that's what we are seeing, people with a fistful of flour able to change the world. I think also, Jana Sanskriti should be for us, especially the foreigners, especially the Sahibs, should be a burning question. How can we not repeat Jana Sanskriti, but how can we create Jana Sanskriti in our countries? How can we have the same spirit of Jana Sanskriti? How can we change the change of Jana Sanskriti?
So the Jana Sanskriti are one enigma, one mystery, one beautiful energy that for us outsiders maybe we can always only understand in part.
The interesting character of this whole movement is that it is an activist movement initially. It was an activist movement. So the journey started from activism and went to acting. So it's not from the acting to activism, it's from the activism to acting. So you are an activist group, went to the village to promote independent people's organization. There we realized that people are interested in getting things through the art, because traditionally the folk arts, traditional arts have worked as a teaching medium, teaching learning medium for the people. Since then we started doing theatre, and then with activism theatre was added, but this theatre was a propaganda theatre, because from my knowledge, little knowledge of theatre in those days, the kind of knowledge I had, I only saw the propaganda theatre groups from activist movement, from Communist Party's cultural wing. So therefore, there was nothing interesting came in my mind. So we started the propaganda theatre group. But the interesting thing is, because the oppressed people, they themselves were acting. So in a way, it was theatre of the oppressed, but not the theatre of the oppressed, as we see in Boal. The oppressed were participating, and our intention was not to control people, but to empower people, but to bring people into the leadership. So therefore our attitude perhaps was different, and the propaganda theatre was working somewhere or other, because villagers were receiving it. Then at this point, two influences came together to Jana Sanskriti. One is from the spiritual world. It's a gentleman called Vivekananda who said education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. The perfection already exists, only it needs to be manifested. So we found a great respect for the people in the voice of Vivekananda. And similarly, when I started reading Boal, I found that Boal is also focusing on the ability of the intellectual ability of the people.
Je fais du théâtre de l'opprimé depuis 1980 à peu près, et puis j'ai eu la chance de travailler dans l'équipe d'Augusto Boal pendant environ 12 ans à Paris. Et quand je travaillais au CTO d'Augusto, eh bien il est arrivé quelque chose de formidable, d'impressionnant, c'est que nous avons rencontré Sanjoy, Shima et une belle-sœur de Sanjoy, qui avait fait un stage de théâtre de l'opprimé en Bretagne. Ayant fait un stage de théâtre, Anuradha ayant fait un stage de théâtre de l'opprimé en Bretagne, on a parlé à Sanjoy, et Sanjoy et son équipe ont décidé, non pas de faire venir tous les Indiens de leur équipe à Paris pour se former, mais de demander à Augusto Boal de venir leur animer un stage chez eux. Donc, on leur a donné ce stage et tout ça devait se finir par un festival local. Ils nous avaient dit qu'il y aurait un festival local. Il y avait notamment 2 grands groupes. Il y avait Jana Sanskriti, puis un autre groupe, et puis d'autres qui étaient là. Et ils devaient montrer des scènes.
The Forum Theatre is an intellectual game between actors and spectators. And he is also saying that we don't know how big we are. We have wealth of possibilities. We know a lot of things outside, but we know very little about ourselves. So it was just an echo of Vivekananda. So I found that this theatre philosophy is very much connected to the Indian thinking. So I didn't have to really work on how to contextualize Boal with our Indian context, because it was already in the context, so already it has some universal appeal, so I didn't find any problem to implement this. And on the other hand, because it broke the culture of monologue between actors and spectators, because it created a space for intellectual space for debate and discussion, we thought this could be the best medium to democratize politics. So in order to democratize politics, we accepted Forum Theatre. It's not that Forum Theatre we accepted first and then we went to the politics. We were in the politics, and for our politics we used Forum Theatre. We used Theatre of the Oppressed.
Et ça nous avait énormément frappé, énormément. Et puis la manière dont ils se sont emparés des techniques du théâtre forum. C'est-à-dire que on était 6 animateurs, on avait pris le parti de faire 3 groupes, donc on s'était mis par 2, et chaque groupe, on a aidé chaque groupe à monter un théâtre forum. Ils ont joué entre eux, mais ça faisait déjà au moins 60 spectateurs, même plus. On l'a joué plusieurs fois, on l'a remodifié, des villageois qui étaient là, et puis ils avaient acquis cette technique, des grosses discussions sur l'intérêt du théâtre forum. Ils nous ont expliqué que les 2 compagnies pratiquaient un théâtre militant déjà. Jana Sanskriti chantait dans les villages, faisait un théâtre, on pourrait dire un théâtre héroïque, où il présentait des luttes, où il faisait des pyramides humaines, un style très très lyrique. Et ils allaient continuer à faire ça.
Peut-être, pour commencer, c'est peut-être la qualité esthétique. Hein? Peut-être bizarre que je mentionne ça, mais je trouve que les pièces de Jana Sanskriti, ils ne sont pas du tout simplistiques. Hein? Ils ont une qualité esthétique qui, évidemment, est nourrie par le terrain culturel, hein? Qui utilise des danses, de la musique, des formes de parler, etc., qui leur sont naturelles. Avec tout ça, vous avez, ce qui résulte, c'est un théâtre sophistiqué, un théâtre subtil, un théâtre qui a beaucoup de nuances, un théâtre qui ne donne pas des solutions tout à fait simplistiques, un théâtre qui incite à penser, à analyser, à réagir du point de vue intellectuel, du point de vue affectif. Et ils utilisent toutes les possibilités du théâtre, parce que le théâtre est quelque chose qui vous affecte par plusieurs domaines, plusieurs lignes de force. Et comme ça, le théâtre de Jana Sanskriti est très conscient des possibilités théâtrales. Dans un contexte indien, ils utilisent des ressources indiennes, bien sûr, mais cela, on peut, je crois, transférer cela en n'importe quelle culture, quel pays, en retenant cette idée de multivalence, de polyvalence. Ne pas créer des choses trop simplistiques, créer des personnages assez complexes, utiliser beaucoup de modes de théâtre, utiliser musique, rythme, danse, image, tout ça. Et créer une pièce qui parle par toutes ces lignes de force.
This is the play called Golden Girl. It's basically the story of a girl before marriage, during marriage, and after marriage. So 3 phases of a girl's life, the women's life in Bengal. The play we devised, you will be amazed that it was a play devised in the year 1991. So it's 19 years old play, but many of us still perform in the new areas where we first intervene. If we intervene in a new area, we go with this play for a strategic reasons. So it was devised taking the experience of 25 women into consideration. At that time they participated in the workshop and they made a lot of images of families, and from among those images we devised this play. Here in Bengal, India, there is a system called dowry system. You are not used to this kind of system, you don't know. It's a dowry system where, first of all, the marriages are mostly arranged, and when the marriage is arranged by the parents of the girl, then the family of the bridegroom or bridegroom with his friends or families come to see the girl. How beautiful she is, whether she is okay or not, whether there is any disability or not. So all these things they actually examine.
সেই কারণে আমাদের সোনার মেয়ে নাটকে এটা যারা দেখেছে তারা খুব ভালো করে বুঝতে পারবে যে আমাদের প্রেজেন্ট সিচুয়েশনে মেয়েদের ভূমিকাটা কী। পণ নেওয়ার ব্যাপারটা এত বেশি আছে বলেই এই সোনার মেয়ে কিন্তু একদিনে তৈরি হয়নি। আর আমাদের তো মানে জনসংস্কৃতির যে পরিচালক সে সবসময় বিশ্বাস করে লেখা স্ক্রিপ্ট নয়, আমরা ওয়ার্কশপ চলতে চলতে আমরা রচনা করব, স্ক্রিপ্ট লিখব। তো অনেক দিন ধরে এই মেয়েরা এক জায়গায় বসে আলোচনার পর আলোচনা, প্রথম ওয়ার্কশপ হয়নি, দ্বিতীয় ওয়ার্কশপ হয়নি, তৃতীয় ওয়ার্কশপ হয়নি, চতুর্থ ওয়ার্কশপে থেকে ও একটা সে একটা, এই মেয়েদের গল্প শুনতে 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 তারপরে কিন্তু এই সোনার মেয়ে নাটকটা তৈরি হয়েছে, যেখানে নাকি আমরা দেখাতে পেরেছিলাম যে সত্যি সত্যি মহিলাদের অবস্থাটা কী। আর আমার মনে হয় যখন সোনার মেয়ে তৈরি হয়েছিল তখন থেকে যদি আজকের দিন দেখি, সোনার মেয়ে কিন্তু মানে বয়স হয়ে গেল 91, 92-তে আমরা তৈরি করেছি, আর আজকে 2010, সমান প্রাসঙ্গিক।
আমরা বাইরে যেতে চাই না, তোমাদের বাইরে যেতে নেই। আমরা বাইরে যেতে চাই না, তোমাদের বাইরে যেতে নেই। আমরা বাইরে যেতে চাই না, তোমাদের বাইরে যেতে নেই।
আরে কি হলো কি? আয় না একবার ভেতরে।
চলো কি তোদের মা ডাকতে শুনতে পাচ্ছিস?
সামনে আমার এক্সাম আছে বাবা। আমি সবকিছু তোমাকে আমি ছড়িয়ে দিচ্ছি, টাকা দিল না, আমি বসো একটু, আমি করে দিচ্ছি। তুমি বসো, তোমার মায়ের হচ্ছে, তুমি পেলো, তুমি পেলো না, তোমার মায়ের হচ্ছে, তুমি পেলো না। এটা আলমারির উপরে খাবার দেবে তো, সাথে দাও। রান্নাটা করো, জামাটা পাচ্ছি না। আরে খেতে দাও, বাচ্চা খাচ্ছে। আমি আর পাচ্ছি না।
So this is one of our intervening point. The scene is clear. So they are performing. Start.
মামা ভেতরে একবার আয় তো মা।
ভিতরে মা ডাকছে।
আরে কি হলো কি? আয় না একবার ভেতরে।
কি হলো কি?
So can anyone intervene here? Can you transform the situation?
শুরু করো প্রথম থেকে।
মামা আরে ভেতরে একবার আয় তো মা।
কি হলো কি? ভিতরে মা ডাকছে শুনতে পাচ্ছ? Marion is calling back. Can you listen to your mother?
I was reading. I was trying to learn something.
তোমার কাজের পড়ার থেকে কাজটা জরুরি, কারণ শ্বশুর বাড়ি গিয়ে তোমার কাজটা করতে হবে।
How to do household work.
But don't you think?
But you have to go to someone's house.
But I don't think that I should go to someone's house. I think I should try to learn instead. I dream of going to school.
শোনো, একটা বুঝতে হবে, আমার তো সেরকম আর্থিক কন্ডিশন নেই, যেটুকু আছে ভাইয়ের পিছনে খরচ করতে হবে। তোমার যদি পড়াতে যাই, আমি কি ওই টাকাটা তাহলে কি করে পাবো?
Economic condition doesn't permit to educate both of you.
But why can't you take the money that you put aside for my dowry and instead invest it in my education?
তোমার বোনের পিছনে তুমি বলছো খরচ করবে না, তারপরে তোমার আমি লেখাপড়া শেখালাম, একটু বেশি লেখাপড়া শিখলি, আবার বেশি লেখাপড়া ছেলে দরকার, তার বেশি পণ দিতে হবে, এটা তুমি জানো কি?
If you are more educated, then we want more educated bridegroom, and he will be asking more dowry.
Là aussi, oui, certainement, le travail de Jana Sanskriti est très important parce que, évidemment, c'est pas un travail qui prend fin lorsque la pièce termine. Il monte la même pièce 2 fois, 4 fois, 10 fois, même 100 fois au même endroit. Il retourne après 2 mois, 3 mois, n'importe quoi. Et entre-temps, même, ils ont des représentants dans le village qui parlent avec la population, qui suscitent des réponses, qui leur stimulent à analyser la situation et à penser aux solutions possibles. Alors le dialogue qui commence avec le forum continue dans la vie des gens, dans la communauté. Et ça, c'est absolument important, absolument nécessaire dans un théâtre de ce genre. Hein? Et c'est pourquoi Jana Sanskriti est presque unique, je crois.
মানুষের সংস্কৃতিটা কী হবে, জনগণের সংস্কৃতি। যে আমরা যখনই যাচ্ছি জনসংস্কৃতির প্রতিনিধি হিসাবে, তখন আমরা সেখানে বলছি যে প্রত্যেকটা জায়গাতে, প্রত্যেকটা দেশে, প্রত্যেকটা কী বলবো রাজ্যে আমাদের সেখানে কী বলবো ডায়লগের কোনো সংস্কৃতি নেই। জনগণের সংস্কৃতি হবে মানুষ সবসময় কথা বলছে, পরস্পর তার ভাবনা চিন্তা আদান প্রদান করছে, প্রত্যেকে পরস্পর জিনিসটাকে গ্রহণ করছে, তার মতামতকে বিশ্বাস করছে, আদান প্রদান হচ্ছে। সেখানে একজন বলে যাচ্ছে আর একজন শুনে যাচ্ছে কন্টিনিউ, সেই সংস্কৃতি জনসংস্কৃতি পছন্দ মানে একদমই মানে না। অতএব সেই সংস্কৃতি মনে করছে যেখানে মানুষ কথোপকথন করছে, যেখানে ডায়লগ আছে, সেই সংস্কৃতিটাই প্রথমে গিয়ে প্রতিনিধিত্ব মানে সেখানে গিয়ে বলবে। আজকের সারা পৃথিবীতে এই ক্রাইসিসটা চলছে। সরকার তার নিজের মতো করে সিদ্ধান্ত নিয়ে নিচ্ছে, পুঁজি তার নিজের মতো করে সিদ্ধান্ত নিচ্ছে, মানুষের কথা কিছু বলছে না, মানুষের সিদ্ধান্ত তারা মানছে না। তাহলে একটা কোথাও না কোথাও একটা সংস্কৃতির ঘাটতি হচ্ছে, যে সংস্কৃতির মধ্যে দুজনের মধ্যে মতবিরোধ হয়ে যাচ্ছে। আজকে সব জায়গাতেই, সেই পরিবারের ক্ষেত্রে হোক, আর সেই স্কুলের ক্ষেত্রে হোক, সেই স্বাস্থ্যকেন্দ্রের ক্ষেত্রে হোক, সেই সমাজের ক্ষেত্রে হোক, এই সংস্কৃতিটা কিন্তু শুধু সরকারের ক্ষেত্রে বলবো না, সর্বক্ষেত্রেই কিন্তু এই ধরনের সংস্কৃতিটা আছে। তো প্রথমেই আমাদের প্রতিনিধিত্ব হয়ে কথাটা বলা হচ্ছে যে সমাজে একটা ডায়লগের সংস্কৃতি তৈরি।
মানুষ আমাদেরকে বেশি গ্রহণ করে, কারণ আমরা মানুষের কাছে তো শিক্ষক হিসেবে যাই না, আমরা শিখতে যাই। যে আমরা এখানে শেখাতে এসে সেই মনটা নিয়ে কিন্তু আমরা লোকের সঙ্গে মিশছি না, যে তোমার কাছ থেকেও আমি শিখবো, আমার কাছ থেকেও শিখবো। এই যে পরস্পরের মধ্যে যে সম্পর্কটা, সেই জন্য মানুষ এত গ্রহণ করে। বা গ্রামের মানুষরা যে কোনো জিনিস তারা সবাই মিলে সিদ্ধান্ত নেবে, যে কোনো সমস্যা তারা সবাই মিলে সিদ্ধান্ত নেবে, উপর থেকে কেউ চাপিয়ে দেবে না। তো এটার জন্য আমার মনে হয় যে আরও সবাই জনসংস্কৃতিটাকে পছন্দ করে, যে এখানে স্বাধীনতাটা আছে, এখানে বলার জায়গাটা আছে, কেউ এখানে সিদ্ধান্ত একা নেয় না, প্রত্যেকের মানে চিন্তাভাবনা করার ক্ষমতা এখানে দেওয়া হয়।
The Jana Sanskriti members are invited to come and perform a foreign theatre play in a village. They go and perform Shana May, the Golden Girl, for the first time. At the end of the play, the villagers are invited to intervene on stage in order to take their oppressed place and to seek an alternative to this situation of oppression. All the interventions that took place during the forum are written down. Once they come back to the Girish Bhavan, the main center, the Jana Sanskriti members analyze the interventions. In the following month, they will go back to the same village to perform the same play several times. From one form to another, the spectators' and spectatresses' interventions are more and more frequent and in-depth. After several performances and debates that follow them, the Jana Sanskriti offers the people who seem ready to join the movement to create a new theatre team inside the village. Those people will go to the Girish Bhavan to receive a training which includes 2 workshops. In the first one, they will learn, among other things, some theatre of the oppressed games and techniques. In the second workshop, they will be offered to build a foreign theatre play from the issue they will have chosen themselves. Back home, the villagers will perform it several times with the Jana Sanskriti members. Once they feel more comfortable, they will go on alone, while keeping in close touch with the trainers. It's only after 1 or 2 years that the new team will officially take part in the Jana Sanskriti. Afterward, they will intervene in the surrounding villages, lead some workshops, and keep going on the mobilization within the movement. At the same time, spectators' committees, which are the continuation of the artistic activities, will be created. Those committees decide which concrete actions will be held according to the alternatives that have been proposed in the film theatre sessions. Moreover, every year, they elect 2 representatives, 1 man and 1 woman, who will take part in the meeting where the general political orientation of Jana Sanskriti is decided. In the West Bengal, the Jana Sanskriti is made up of more than 30 theatre teams, which represent more than 600 members, and they will have an impact on more than 20,000 spectators and spectatresses.
শাসনের নামে অপশাসন চালিয়ে যাচ্ছে, আমরা সুখ শান্তি থেকে বঞ্চিত। তাই আমাদের এখন দরকার হচ্ছে মহামায়া বা দুর্গার মতো।
What kind of theatre we are doing, what sort of issues we are addressing, what sort of quality of art we are delivering. I think they are all important. But the most important to the villagers, even today, is the commitment of Jana Sanskriti people. That day you have seen this 5,000, little more than 5,000 spectators, and it will be really difficult to find a place in the world where 5,000 spectators are watching a play in a village, and many of them have been watching Forum Theatre for 20 years, 15 years, 12 years, 10 years. So it's only because the Theatre of the Oppressed offered them an intellectual space. Theatre of the Oppressed democratized, they saw the democratized form of politics. They found opportunity to grow rationally, intellectually. They all experienced internal revolution, and they love the commitment also. So in many ways we are actually thinking, but the struggle is not so easy. It's a difficult challenge. The more it becomes big, you have bigger challenges. Now the group has gone bigger, new people are coming into it. The interaction between the old members is getting less and less because we are all busy. So these things are actually, if you allow the expansion, you have to have some effects on it, good and bad. So now it's we are discussing this, how to create expansion, and at the same time how to keep the essence of love and interaction inside the group. So people are asking this question, and they are very important. So, but it's a big challenge. We are trying to be democratic. We are trying to decentralize our committees, structures. We are trying to include more people from outside the group. I mean, they can be historian, they can be economists, they can have more experience in running an organization. So we are trying to bring those people also into the organization.
Et le danger, enfin, qui s'impose surtout dans les groupes qui utilisent le TO et le forum, hein, de ne pas entreprendre des actions qui pourraient être subventionnées par exemple des compagnies multinationales et tout ça, des trucs comme ça.
The problem is now to sustain with our independent thoughts and ideas. Because we are, in one hand, we are criticizing these development paradigms, which evicts people, displaces people. In India, the Planning Commission has accepted this report that 83%, 830 millions of people cannot even spend 20 rupees a day. This is the situation of a country, and we are. The propaganda is that India is going for 10% middle class. So these development paradigms, if you follow, at the same time the corporates are talking about their corporate social responsibility. It's a huge camouflaging. In one hand they are talking about corporate responsibility. A pharmaceutical company is giving some money to some NGOs. When that pharmaceutical companies makes 1,000% profit for our medicines. So suppose a medicine cost price is 13 rupees, we are buying it for 6 rupees. And that's the same company is showing some corporate social responsibilities. So we don't really want to be supported by such corporate donors. And therefore the financial sustainability is now a very big question in Jana Sanskriti. how can we become financially sustainable?
Oui, c'est difficile en Inde parce qu'il y a tant d'organisations. Qu'est-ce qu'on dit en français pour NGO?
ONG.
ONG. Bon, il y en a tant en Inde. Il y a des milliers. Et parfois, ils utilisent pour un certain moment, pour un certain temps, ils utilisent du théâtre, mais dans leur but est pas nécessairement compatible avec le théo.
It's the corporate agenda. You can see the mushrooming growth of NGOs in this continent. The more imperialism, whenever you see they are becoming stronger, you can see they are promoting NGOs. They are giving money. Bill Gates is giving money to Indian NGOs. And it is unfortunate that theatre of the oppressed, mostly theatre of the oppressed are being practiced by the NGOs. Those who are not interested in the politics of theatre of the oppressed. It's a massive misuse we observe. And that's the problem time and again are being brought by our South American partners, all the practitioners, in the Rio also. It was the big questions, whether we should call them as theatre of the oppressed or not.
I think our position as TO practitioner is, I mean, in the fundament, this solidarity and ethical, but in the perspective, is autonomy. You know, I go to work somewhere, but I go to work somewhere for there have somebody who'd be autonomy and use in their own way. It's autonomy is our aim, you know.
But the main idea is to focus on the alternatives. What could be different? What can we change? And not just to heal and to go back to our life, but to transform our life itself. So theatre of the press is never going to be enough. Always there is a need for a further transformation. This is only, according to me, using politics for theatre and using theatre for politics.
It's not only the awareness, it's awareness to act. So when we see the theatre of the oppressed is in the wrong hands, we are really worried because we know that it is not in the right hand all the times. Because most of the NGOs, they are using theatre to develop, so-called development, to so-called participations, which are all interpreted by the masters. The development is what development? What is participation? Participation is an intellectual journey. People should go from, they should have an understanding about a system by analyzing a local cause. It's the participation. Participation is not something you have already determined. But when we see the NGOs doing theatre for development, very often we find their participation is already framed, their development is already framed, and here in theatre of the oppressed, at least the way we practice, we are questioning the development. If you see Jana Sanskriti's play, we have been right through questioning the development paradigms. We have done plays against corporatization in agricultural systems. We have done plays on the land grabbing in the name of so-called industrialization. We are always questioning this whole development paradigms. So development is also a dynamic thought. Development is also our development. It's not the development determined by Truman in the American president. After Second War, he came up with this dialogue: developed and underdeveloped. And what is their way of development? The people are questioning the whole development paradigm. It's my development. I want to develop in this way. It is not. I'm not going to accept your definition of development. We don't want always bypass and good roads for the capital to move their raw materials. Maybe we want something others. So that's the question we are using through this tool.
Les Jana Sanskriti, tu vois, ce qu'ils ont fait pendant les 15 dernières années, et c'est pour ça qu'ils sont capables de faire la fédération indienne du théâtre de l'opprimé, c'est que pendant les 15 dernières années, ils ont essayé de convaincre les autres mouvements de masse que le théâtre de l'opprimé c'était un outil utile pour eux. Et de fait, ils ont réussi. Ils ont fait en sorte que des mouvements où il y a, 300 000 personnes, 400 000 personnes dedans, les fondateurs du mouvement sont dans la troupe. Tellement ils s'investissent dedans, tellement ils pensent que c'est important.
So the Federation of Theatre of the Oppressed was born in 2006 as a result of our work. But in this Federation of the Theatre of the Oppressed, all the theatre groups, we don't call company because they were nobody professional. So all the theatre groups are actually representing activist movements. So this is the first time in India where Jana Sanskriti, a cultural group, brought political groups together. Normally what happens, the political group used to bring cultural group together. That we have found in the history of our political theatre. But a political theatre group is federating its theatre group, and that is ultimately culminating as a federation of the activist movement. This is first time in India. So now this is we have the Federation of Theatre of the Opera, where you have seen Ulka is one of the members, his organization, her organization.
Initially we covered issues like accessing public distribution system or monitoring the public health system, all localized sorts of issues, but where government was directly involved. And we were already working on those issues, and we used to use theatre in our village meetings, but that was more spontaneous kind of thing. After getting to know and getting associated with the theatre movement, we could articulate ourselves more with all those local issues.
We come from Maharashtra. We are an organization of agricultural laborers and farmers called Sarvahara Jana Andolan. The major strength of our organization comprises of indigenous community called Katkari, which is mainly dependent on forest for their livelihood, and they seasonally migrate in search of work. We've been fighting for protecting the rights over land and forest, and for just wages and proper working conditions, and against all sorts of onslaught on our natural resources.
काय करणार हो? कधी पडणार हा पाऊस? काय होईल माझ्या कुटुंबाचं? पोरं उपाशी.
Now the agricultural sector is depending on the market. But because people have started realizing that it is not actually benefiting them, and in India you can see that in the last few years there are more than 150,000 farmers have committed suicide. It's no joke. Here, in one hand, they are saying that agriculture is not profitable, so therefore go for industry. On the other hand, some corporates like Monsanto, Metrocase and Carey, those who store the food, they are actually in the line. They have line together. They have written the agricultural policy. They have bribed our bureaucracy ministry, perhaps. And the bureaucracy is trying to introduce this. Some of the minister is talking in favor of Monsanto.
And therefore people are getting deprived of their rights, of their livelihood, and literally being thrown on the streets. And there is no other option given. All these issues which was covered in Gujarat play and in our play also.
Eux, dans leur pièce sur Monsanto, ils nous parlaient beaucoup de comment Monsanto s'attache les paysans et les transforme en ouvriers exécutants et les exploite, en leur imposant et les graines qui sont obligés d'acheter à Monsanto, et les traitements, et les engrais, les pesticides, etc. etc.
लोकांचं मनोरंजन करा, टीव्ही सिनेमा बघू द्या, पोटभर दारू पिऊ द्या, कमी पडलीच तर धान्यापासून दारू तयार करा.
It was a green revolution where corporates, the pesticides, insecticides, and seeds from the company that started coming into the agricultural sector. So very few people actually could understand that it was actually the way opening for the corporates to come into the agricultural sector. But because the production was more, so farmers thought it as a good proposition. So it increased the production. But what happened, slowly the production is coming down. The quality of land is getting deteriorated. Cost of production is higher, but the amount of production is becoming lower. And also there are a lot of side effects, like particularly in the health sector. The villages are becoming the health. So in this case, why they are doing it? If it is not profitable, why are you planning to invest, you the corporates? Why are you so interested? Because they know that they will ask our farmers to cultivate some products which they need for the European middle class, American middle class and Indian middle class. And now they are talking about evergreen revolution, which says that GM food will be introduced. You cultivate fruits, they will go for contract farming. So the farmers will produce following the dictation of the company, and then company will directly take the products from the farmers to metro cash and carry to the departmental stores. And in between, all the retailers, they will die because they will lose their profession. So it's the few crores of people will be evicted from their livelihood. But it's basically the corporates, 5 or 6 corporates. Now they try to control the Indian agriculture, including one of them is Monsanto.
Monsanto, 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 re. Monsanto, 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 re. Monsanto, 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 re. Monsanto, 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 re.
Monsanto has come up here with another name called Myco. So when we used it in our play, that we were saying Monsanto, 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 and then we suddenly changed it to Myco because in order to make people understand that Monsanto has come up here with another name.
So now we have started performing this play, that whether it is just for the discussion, whether you are ready to surrender your future to the corporate server or not. After witnessing 150,000 farmers committing suicide in this country, do you think we are ready to take the risk? That's what we want to talk to the people, and therefore we have made this play. For Maharashtra they have started, in West Bengal we are starting, and we will be doing it.
Donc c'est ces rencontres qui sont formidables, de faire se rencontrer une oppression avec une autre qui peut-être a priori n'a rien à voir. Nous on pense fondamentalement, mais on le pense dans la tête et dans le cœur, que idéologiquement aussi, que bien sûr ça a à voir. Il faut chercher ce qu'il y a de commun. Quel système, qu'est-ce qu'on combat tous ensemble, et pour quel monde meilleur on combat bien sûr, mais quel système nous empêche de le réaliser. C'est ça. Donc quand on cherche un peu, si on se donne la peine de se rencontrer, d'essayer de comprendre que la lutte des autres, elle n'est pas anodine, elle n'est pas secondaire, mais qu'elle est importante aussi, eh ben, on finit par trouver des points communs. Et je crois que c'est en faisant des alliances qu'on fera la révolution, quel que soit le sens qu'on donne à ce mot. Mais c'est en faisant des alliances, c'est pas tout seul qu'on le fera.